I'm Russell Knight, owner of Knight's Taxidermy. I came to Alaska in 1977 to become a taxidermist. I come from Jackson, Mississippi. I was basically born in Jackson, but I spent my weekends in the country with my grandparents. And so they were farmers, and I lived on a farm during the weekend, and during the week I lived in the city. So that kind of started my interest in animals. And at a very young age, my dad started me out on a .22 rifle, taking me to gravel pits and squirrel hunting and stuff like that. One day I was crow hunting, and we had a little electric game caller, a 45, and it had the death cry of a crow on it. So we'd drive around to farmers and look for crows sitting in their trees or flying around. Well, one day, as we're calling in the crows, I hear ch-ch-ch through the woods, and I look over there, and there's this fox looking at me. So I shoot the fox. Well, I didn't know what to do with this animal. And to make a sad story, I basically lost the animal due to my lack of knowledge in the field for taxidermy. So I made it my mission to learn what to do as a hunter. And I did a mail order taxidermy course for 3 years. At the end of that, I paid $1 a month for this course at 12 years old. At about 15, I graduated this mail order course called Northwestern School of Taxidermy, which actually taught me a lot. I graduated in 1973 from the Northwestern School of Taxidermy, and this is my very treasured document from back then. One of the first animals I mounted was a pheasant. So I got on my 10-speed and I drove my little 10-speed down, carrying a pheasant on my hand about 5 miles down to the local taxidermy shop, and I walked in and asked the guy to critique it for me. Well, the fellow immediately offered me a $2 an hour job. Well, how could I turn that down? $2 an hour was a huge amount of money for a 13 or 14-year-old at the time in like 1973. From the very early age of about 14, I decided I was moving to Alaska. So I bought a one-way ticket, jumped on the jet in Jackson, Mississippi, first time I'd ever been on a plane, flew up to Chicago, got assaulted by Hare Krishnas at the airport, and landed in Anchorage, Alaska on April Fool's Day, 1977. I always said I was an April Fool. I don't know if you know what the word taxidermy means, but it's a Latin word. Taxi, well, we use it today. You know what a taxi is. It's a cab, or it takes you around. Well, taxi means to move around or to arrange or to move about. And dermy means skin or layers of skin. So taxidermy means to move about or arrange layers of skin, which is what we do, and that's our skill. Life-size bears are a lot of fun to do. We can do all kind of scenery work, base work. We get to do wood trim, woodwork. We get to do all kind of auto body work, which is rebuilding of the bodies. I'd say mounting a life-size bear is probably more fun to me than most jobs. I live in Alaska to enjoy the summers and the winters here because it's such a fabulous place. I was never around snow as a kid. I was never around real cold winters. I was, like I said, from the deep south, and the culture and the lifestyles here are just so different from where I was. I just wanted to experience it, and I just never went home. I just came to Alaska, got hooked, and stayed, and have been here ever since.